Over a year ago, the COVID-19 pandemic hit, and universities began to close down and transition to online learning. Since then, there have been a number of negative impacts on people's overall health and well-being beyond just getting sick. This raises issues about the health and well-being with a specific focus on mental health of the undergraduate students at St. Mary's University. There has been an overall decline in the mental health of university students on a global level, and it is important to be able to identify the factors contributing to this in order to work to find a solution. The personal mental health struggles of students at St. Mary's reflects the much larger issue of COVID-19 related negative impacts on the mental health of people all around the world. In particular, the research has shown a concerning amount of anxiety and stress associated with the pandemic and the financial constraints among students during this time. One study found that out of the 15,543 university students that participated, 44.59% are suffering from severe anxiety, 48.41% moderate anxiety, and only 3.82% mild anxiety. The conclusion was drawn that all pandemic-related stressors are positively correlated with the level of anxiety. Among these stressors, worry about economic influences during and after COVID-19, and worry about the influence of COVID-19 on daily life have a highly positive impact on the level of anxiety. Another study conducted among dental, medical, and engineering students found that students who lived in urban areas have a steady family income and lived with parents experienced only mild levels of anxiety, and these were found to be protective factors towards anxiety. A study done on undergraduate students in New Jersey found that a majority of the students reported academic difficulty since the start of the pandemic, but also reported difficulty with everyday life, most commonly obtaining hygiene supplies and medications, losing jobs or work hours, reduced wages, and even difficulties getting food. Further studies have found an increase in anxiety and depression symptoms in college students in China and the United States after comparing mental health before and during COVID-19. There's unforeseen challenges presented to students with the closures of campuses nationwide, especially considering students have already shown concerning rates of mental health conditions and suicidality pre-pandemic. My strategy for limiting the mental health decline and high levels of anxiety and stress among undergraduate students at St. Mary's comes back to the issue of financial constraints. As a main cause of anxiety and stress at this time, and often an intersecting factor in socially vulnerable groups, it is a logical place to start. Financial constraints are also often tied to time constraints, and therefore offering relief from the stress of trying to find work or picking up more hours will give students more time to focus on their studies and overall health and well-being. I would propose more affordable student housing, meal plans, and scholarship opportunities. The school could decrease the price of residence or invest in more student housing that they would be able to offer at a lower price. For students who do not have the option of living at home, the cost of residence or off-campus housing is substantial and an added stressor in being able to afford. It would also be beneficial to offer a more affordable meal plan option, or even a free food drive that the students could go to for making their own meals. It could even be as simple as implementing a free breakfast program to ensure the students are receiving at least one sufficient meal a day that they do not worry about having to afford. Offering more scholarship opportunities also would allow students to focus more on school rather than working too many hours in an attempt to pay tuition and living expenses. Not to mention, it could relieve some of the anxiety about student loans and entering a struggling economy while in an extreme student debt. The deteriorating health and well-being of undergraduate students, the mental health in particular, is an issue that St. Mary's University cannot ignore. The research shows not only how severe of a problem this is, but also indicates towards the greater structural influences at play. In order to improve the health and well-being of undergraduate students in the St. Mary's or even broader Nova Scotia community, it is important to identify these influences. As worry about economic influences during and after COVID-19 was reported as a main stressor, the financial insecurity and stress that many university students are faced with can be identified as one of these main influences. Therefore, the strategy to solve this issue needs to target financial constraints. Offering low-income student housing, meal plan, and scholarship opportunities would help lift the burden of these financial constraints and relieve students of a lot of their anxiety and stress. It would also give students more time to take care of their physical health as well. Many of the university students at St. Mary's will soon be entering the workforce in the Nova Scotia community, and it is important to ensure that when they do, their health and well-being is prospering rather than deteriorating at the rate it is now.